Hey guys, so I am super excited to share with you guys. I gave myself a challenge. I wanted to see if I could cut our grocery budget in half. Now I knew that it wasn't going to be easy, but I kind of wanted to just kind of play around with it and see what I could come up with and how I could make things work. And so normally we generally would spend, including household, usually right up between $1,100 and $1,200 a month, and that was groceries and household, diapers, supplies for the house, personal items, things like that. So I wanted to see if I could cut it down. We are in the process right now. We have ourselves set up on about a 3 to 3.5 year plan that we will be living debt free. Praise you, Jesus. So I'm trying, I've always been a frugal person, but I'm trying my hardest to really, you know, pinch pennies here and this little bit here and this little bit there. So I kind of wanted to see what I could come up with, and I'm pretty excited. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but toot toot. So, you know, we'll be celebrating our 13th wedding anniversary this year. So we've been together for 15 years, 13 of those years married. And during that time, I mean, we've hit some rough patches with finances. Whether it's been my husband was laid off or lost his job, or we've had unexpected expenses. And, you know, sometimes it's been tough. I'm really thankful God has always provided and always made a way for us. And so I know that He will continue to do so. But God also wants us to be good stewards over our money. And I thought, you know, I can do, if I put forth more effort and a little more time and think about what I'm doing meticulously, I want to see if I can save us some money. And so it ended up working really well, you know. And at first I was thinking I'm gonna have to kind of, you know, sacrifice maybe food quality or variety, but actually I almost feel like, you know, we've done more.
It still smells like vomit in there.
But I feel like we've almost kind of had more than what we did before. And I don't know if that's just I put more time and effort into it, making sure that we did have a variety and trying to be more creative. So I'm going to share some money saving tips that I have found that has worked well for us. And then I'm also going to show you that you can feed your family well for a minimal amount of money. Is that not awesome? I know, right? Again, toot toot. Tip number 1, plan ahead. Write down your list of breakfast items, things for lunch, things for dinner, snacks. If you have special activities coming up, vacation, things like that, plan accordingly for those special times that are going to be happening. Make sure that you include some easy dinners, lunches, quick breakfast, snacks, things like that, things that you'll need maybe for on the go, because life is going to happen. And if you don't have something like that on hand, you're either going to run and grab fast food or eat SpaghettiOs out of a can for dinner. So have a backup plan. Tip number 2, shop your pantry and cabinets first. Look through everything that you have. Now, that can be kind of time consuming if you're like digging down to the bottom of your freezer and looking, you know, at stuff in your pantry that you've been hanging on to forever that you haven't used and you think, oh, maybe I will use it, now's the time to use it. So see what you have and formulate as many meals as you can off of what you already have. I was able to do a ton with what I already had here. Now it took a little bit of creativity, but it is doable. And your stuff's not going to waste, because a lot of times, I mean, pretty much it's like taking money and just flushing down the toilet. And that hurts my heart. Tip number 3, use perishables first. Meals that contain a lot of vegetables or snacks, fruits, anything like that, use those first. I read a statistic actually that said Americans end up throwing away 50% of the produce that we buy. That's sad. That's sad. So I am making an effort to not let that happen anymore. So use those perishables first, because we want to cut waste. You want to use everything that you possibly can. 4, save your leftovers. Okay, so I know a lot of people are like, bleh, leftovers. It is a huge money saver. Excuse me, it really is. And you don't always have to use them as the same thing. Like turn your spaghetti one night, save your leftovers, turn it into a baked spaghetti a couple days further down the week. Yay! You like spaghetti! But hang on to them. They do come in handy for lunch. My husband is not a huge fan of leftovers. Yay! But sometimes it just takes a little bit of sprucing it up, and you got another meal. Yay! Which ties into tip number 5. Be creative. Set your budget and stick to it. Now, you know that you're going to need a fill-in with some produce, vegetables, milk, things like that. Set aside a separate amount, a week, 2 weeks, a month, however you do your shopping. Set that aside because you are going to need it. Factor that into your budget. Now, another big challenge that I set for myself was not buying convenience foods. Isn't he so cute? Not buying convenience foods. Yes, they are convenient, but they do not last long, and the price that you're paying compared to the amount of food and the amount of time that's going to last, it's not worth it. So I set myself on this big adventure of cooking from scratch, everything from scratch. Yes, it does take a little bit more time, but once you kind of get your recipes in your head, you know what you're doing, it doesn't really take that much longer than it originally would, like if you bought a convenience food. So, yeah, I'm telling you, it really does work cooking from scratch. You end up saving a ton of money. For example, my bread, you know, for us, we were looking at, you know, right under $2 for a loaf of bread. And we can go through a loaf of bread in no time. So, it ended up with my bread that I started making at home, that equals out to around 30 cents a loaf. Yeah. So, big difference. Yay! Now, we all have our certain brands of things that we like, things that we don't like, but for the majority of the time, you can buy generic. Now, some stuff, there is a big difference, you know, but there's some things I like the generic of it better than even the name brand, but for the ones, I mean, you know, that are, you can't tell a difference, one just is a name brand and one is a generic knockoff, save some money and buy the generic one. Shop unit prices. I didn't realize until I actually, you know, really started diligently paying attention that sometimes buying in bulk is not cheaper. Sometimes it is cheaper to buy maybe 10 packs of the smaller one than it is to buy one of the bigger one. So look at your unit price because it does make a difference. Now, you know, a few pennies here, a few pennies there, but if you consider a month's time and then a year's time, it can really add up. So check your unit prices because sometimes what looks like a good deal is not always a good deal, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Yay! You not gonna clap for that one? So something that kind of ties in with that is with your meat. Now, like I said, always check your unit price, but usually it is cheaper as far as I know, like with ground beef. I'm not 100% sure on some of the other meat cuts, but like with ground beef, it is usually cheaper to go ahead and buy a larger portion, and then when you get it home, divide it out yourself. So recently I got a 10-pound roll of ground beef for around $17, I think. So I took that whenever I got it home and I divided it out into portions that I would need for my upcoming meals that were requiring ground beef. So you wrap it up in cellophane, then wrap that up in aluminum foil, put it in your freezer. It takes a few more minutes, but it ended up saving a significant amount of money. So, shopping sales is also great. I am not at a place in my life that I can go to several different grocery stores. This season in my life, it's just not happening. So, right now, Walmart grocery pickup has been a lifesaver for me. So, I do utilize our local Save-A-Lot. But sometimes it's easier for me to just order and pick it up. So, it might be a little bit cheaper somewhere else. What? But, you know, you gotta pick and choose the battles. Pick and choose. And right now, I'm picking and choosing a lot. So, hopefully in the future, because life for us has just been so crazy. Wild and crazy. Yeah. Okay, just a minute. But in the past, we have put out a garden and grown our own produce, and that was great because that saves a ton of money. It does require a lot of time and effort, but it is a huge money saver. So the big question, what did we end up eating? Did we live off of ramen noodles every night? No, not that there's anything wrong with that. I have a brother that's in med school, so he eats ramen noodles quite often. I am going to put in the description below just a sample of a 2-week meal plan. Excuse me, a 2-week meal plan that I have of what we have been using these last 2 weeks. And did it work? Yes, it did. So I actually ended up cutting our grocery bill from around $1,200 a month down to about $600 a month. I know. So while I was trying to save money on groceries, I thought, what are some things that I can do to try to save some money around the house as well? So one big thing that I did was with diapers. I only have one little one in diapers right now. I have 2 that wear them at night. But I've been trying to use cloth diapers during the day, and then I use the disposable ones overnight. Now, could I go and use the cloth ones overnight? Yes, I could. Have I done it before? Yes, I have. But I usually I have some pretty heavy wetters at night, and the cloth diapers usually end up leaking at night. And at this season in my life, I just don't want to strip the bed and have to wash it all the time, so I'd rather just spend a couple dollars buying a small bag of diapers, disposable diapers, overnight. Yet again, pick and choose. Pick and choose. But Just little simple things like that. A couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, but it adds up. And it really does.
Mama phone.
So, see if you can cut any money off of your monthly budget for your shopping. Even if it's $100. Guys, that's $100. But see what you can do. And so, I challenge you. Thanks, guys. Love you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye.